Now today in the shop, we're prioritizing jobs according to how Vlad would like them done. The designation of this video is V5, so if you want to look up any of the other videos in this set, just search my channel with the letter V and it should come up. Now we were waiting for an extra day waiting for some of the carbon fiber parts to dry. We're in the middle of that. Today, Vlad made a special trip over so we could go to Gavin's and get resupplied on the material we need to keep these 3 restorations going. And keep in mind, doing 3 restorations at once, there isn't a square inch of space on a workbench. And I'm trying to get some of these parts back to Vlad, especially the BMW ones. He wants to get the BMW, the H2P Sport, back out on the road as soon as possible. And I'm using all the time available to work on the BMW at this part, and I did a good paint test demo today. This video is V5 and designates that it's Vlad's project, his 3 restorations to work on. Yesterday we worked on these valve covers and they really came out nice. These came out like jewelry. I can't believe how nice they dried up. And we have some of the other parts drying in the garage here, but basically today I've got to try to lay out what's going to be the next part of the job because Vlad would like to work on the BMW stuff first. He said he might stop by today to go pick up some paint. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I want to get started on one of the other parts of the BMW project. We really spent a lot of time yesterday working on these and trying to get that absolutely perfect finish, and these just couldn't have come out any nicer. And I don't know today how the day is going to play out weather-wise, but one by one we're getting the BMW parts of this job in the bank. And the only thing we can't put on the video yet is actually when Vlad gets the bike all put back together and gets a real ride where the engine comes up to operating temperature. How this paint is going to hold up, I don't know. I tried to put as much information as I could on yesterday's video, V4, but if this paint holds up, that'll open a door to us doing other things with this paint, but that's yet to be proven. And our test of the Buell part just couldn't have been better. That's going to be open a door when we start working on the Buell. We know we can go ahead with using the Gavco Clear. Now we did that test in the last couple of days. Now some of the other carbon fiber parts, you can see my reflection in these parts. Look at that. That really came out nice. I think he's going to be real happy with that. Yeah, look at that. You can see your reflection in it. And that's usually the test of good quality clear work. Well, time for a good cup of coffee, feed the birds, and get down to shop. Hey birds, I hope you know I'm taking you off my income tax this year. Yeah, I know. And this really is a high nitro cup of coffee. So before I get started, I want to explain to somebody that might have picked this up as the first video. The V set of videos consumes a Buell project, there's parts of it, a Moto Guzzi project, and a BMW project. And there's still an awful lot of parts and sanding and parts that have to be shaved and cut, modified. We need paint for this part. We need paint to repaint the white part and the Buell tank cover, and of course the big one, the Moto Guzzi fairing. That's the lowest priority. But what happens here, Vlad sets the priority, and we're trying to do 1 or 2 pieces per day and get this done in some logical sequence. So by the time he gets ready to put the bike back together, we could be working on the next one. So the phone rang early today. Vlad's coming over to go for the paint. We're going to go up to Gavin's, our body supplier. And we always have a good time going over there. And then we'll get with him and see what parts of this. I assume we're going to do the fairing. We got the fairing, the fender, and every time he comes over he brings 8 more parts, so we'll see. Okay, so Vlad brought the paint over. We're going to go to, this is Colorite. That's going to match the fender. This is what we need for the next step of this job. So the problem with this is there's a chip right up in the front. We have to decide how we're going to fix that, or I'm just going to repaint the whole white. You got plenty of paint, so that's not a problem. But we want to head out to Gavin's and get the rest of the stuff for this project. Alpine white is the BMW color. Okay, what's in this one?
This is Moto Guzzi.
Moto Guzzi red?
Yes. It's like unwrapping the Christmas present.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Motor Guzzi red.
Yep. And then this one is, I need you to test it, is the
silver.
silver.
Now, what do you got? You brought a part I can test this on?
No.
Or you just want me to make a part?
Just,
yeah, I know what you want to do. Okay, just make a light bulb. And you
I
can take it home and look
really
at it.
hope.
Well, we're going to find out. Color right's usually pretty good. All right, so this is Karen watches all these home shows where when they renovate a house, they bring the couple to look at the house for the first time. Of course, it's a fake thing. So, but this is real. He hasn't seen the parts yet. So anyway, this is a funny thing for the home show. So when they say, "Oh, how do you like your new house, Vlad? How do you like your new BMW?" Now we're gonna go in the garage. Stay in the sun. Stay in the sun. You're gonna love this. This stuff's been drying overnight. So let me go in the garage here. This is what I like. This is the reveal. Come out in the sun. No, you don't touch it till it's out in the sun. Show me that out in the sun.
Oh my God, this is beautiful.
Okay, I want to hear. I love my new house.
I love it.
I love my Moto Guzzi. How do you like that?
I love it. Perfect.
That's the secrets of the experts right there. Now you know.
It's nice.
2 hours to degrease the part. That worked out perfect though.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You could put that right back on the bike, baby.
Yep, it goes right back on the bike.
How beautiful. Come on.
Yep.
Say, I want to hear it windy. I love you.
If you can send this down.
We could put more clear on. I ran out of clear. I used all of Steve's
like
clear
a
on.
little,
I love my new house. Look at this guy. He's going to put his dirty nose on his foot.
what is this? A scratch?
I don't know. It won't be there when you're done.
Let's look at this scratch.
Yeah, I wish this wasn't here. If you didn't get rid of this.
Is this scratch?
You know where that part where it was all scratched
right
up?
here, but you can't really see it.
No, you can't see it at all.
You got a little, like this.
Yeah, but it's not buffed out yet.
Okay.
Oh
so
my
this
God!
is gonna
Put it
come
out in the sun. Yeah, put it out in the sun.
The little pops was gonna come out, right?
All the little dust, anything.
Yeah, the little dust.
See now, this is hold the fender up like this. This is a bad piece of carbon fiber here.
Oh, I can't.
You can't change that. There's two parts. They use. This is not a grade A piece of carbon fiber, but
well,
hey, what can I say?
This is
whatever it is.
Ilmberger, one of the most expensive.
And we arrive at world famous Gavin's in Patterson. Oh, what a place. These famous people look at the box of stuff you got and oh, yeah.
197.
This is the stuff, the best stuff there is. 8065 right there. I thought you said we could shoplift this stuff. We wouldn't have to pay for it. So on our trip, we got everything we need, I hope. And he wants to get ready to put the valve covers back on. I'm going to try to see what we can do. If that needs one more coat of clear, of course there's always dust in the paint. But we'll try to get these as nice as possible, of course. And this is the big thing. I've got to do a silver test in the next day or so. Maybe I'll paint a light bulb or something. But this is for his MV Augusta. And there's some silver parts, but we got to make sure this is exactly the right paint. So Vlad requested that the next thing we do is test his Colorite paint. And I want to show how to do what I think is a proper test, because this has to match his MV F4. And it has to be really an exact match. It can't be just any color silver. So what we're going to do is, and I'll show it, how I would do it. And I always mark the can what year it is. I have a whole dumpster full of Vlad's overage paint, and it's Colorite paint. It's usually a really good match, but we're going to do a double check on it. So what Vlad is trying to accomplish, he's got an MV Augusta, an F4, that's got this color somewhere in the paint job. And he wants to make sure this is an exact match before he takes the bike apart, I guess. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. He's the customer, and the customer's always right. Now, of course, you got to get these crazy little clips off. To do a proper paint test, it's not as easy as you think. Because what will happen, if I were to just take this paint and not stir it, it's going to be a different color than if I stir it. If I stir it really well, which is what I'm going to do, and then dilute it 50-50 with exactly what they call for Colorite thinner, which I happen to have some, then I'm going to get what I hope is exactly what Colorite wants. They want their thinner, and they want it to be 50-50. And then what I want to do is I'll set up a spray gun that's perfectly clean, and I'll put a little bit of this paint in and do a test. Now the test that I'll do will be pretty simple, but you can't you can't skip any of the steps if you want it to be right. First off, what I always do is I paint a light bulb. A light bulb has curves, so it picks up the sun, the fluorescent lights, a lot of different ways. Then I take something flat like a jar top, paint it. Now it'll have that reflection like a diamond does. So by painting these two things, and if I have more paint in the gun, I'll paint something else even. But the whole point is if you just take this paint and hold it up against the part that you're trying to match, there's a problem. This doesn't have clear on it, so it's not going to be exactly the color, even if this is the exact paint. Now, I also told Vlad, and he knows I can do this because I mixed the paint for the MT-09 wheels with my own pigment. I have a lot of different pigments, so if he were to bring a part over, I could probably get closer. But the best of all worlds is going to be if this matches exactly. I won't know until I do a test. And this is some of the thinner to colorite from Joe Padula's 888 Ducati fairing repair. We have enough to do this test. Thank you, Joe. Now, silver is probably one of the most difficult colors to get exactly right, because not only is it the color, but you have to match the microscopic specks or flakes that are in the paint. And so, again, not stirring it or letting it sit in the gun for 10 minutes, the color can change a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. Also, silver looks very different in fluorescent light than in bright sunlight and in regular incandescent light. So just as when I did all the tests, and I think it consumed a couple of videos, you can look up my channel and just put paint testing. When I mixed them up, I did many samples, did a lot of testing, got Karen's opinion, went outside in the sun, painted up a spare wheel I had for the RD. It was funny, when I was looking for the wheel, I found out I had 5 of them. I have 5 RD wheels, so that was pretty funny. Anyway, it's all on the old videos. And this is a critical part of it's not related to the project we're working on. This is yet another project. So before this year is out, we might have done 4 of these for Vlad. I don't know. So look at that color now. Out in the bright sun and out in the shop light, which is all fluorescent, that color can change. And see the bright spot in the middle of the curve, right in the middle? That's what you look for. Where it fades to the edges, it's a different color. Now, painting this little flat bottle cap, jar cap, this is going to show us what it looks like when it's a flat surface. The light bulb shows us the curved surface. Now, they make these cool little things you can buy. They look like little Indy cars that have all kind of curves in them to do this in a professional way. But a light bulb and a jar cap, or a piece of glass, or a fluorescent bulb, they'll work just as well. And I'm always in favor of, if you can do something with stuff you already have in a shop, instead of going out and buying something, that's more money you can spend on tires and gas and oil and whatever, or paint in this case. Anyway, the next part we're going to work on is around a speedometer. So the last thing today, I'm going to do this, get this sanded out. I can see there's some scratches down here. Just going to be a little bit time consuming because there's a lot of points and edges. Going to get some 400 sandpaper, and that's about all we're going to get done today, because the day is going by pretty quick, but we do have all the paint for the next working day. And the protocol is always the same for any part we work on paint, or even if we working out in the garage on doing some work on a motorcycle. The protocol is the same, exactly the same. I want the part to be clean before I put any sandpaper on it. And sometimes you have to do this step 2, 3, 4 times, depending. Like the rear fender had a lot of dirt and tire residue on it and everything, but this one, relatively clean, but we still want to clean it as clean as possible before I put any sandpaper on it. I'll go mix up some soapy water. And the next time we get to shoot clear, now we have to shoot clear on those 2 test parts, because that'll give Vlad, on the next time he's over here, that'll give him, he can hold it up next to the part that he's trying to repair and see if he's got a good paint match. And if not, then he's got to take the bike apart and bring that part over here. And we'll sand this part, soapy water and 400. Now, I put some of the sanding sequences here in fast forward, but There's parts of this you don't see around the edges. I know what parts they are. I know how this bike goes together and comes apart. So I didn't spend any time working on them. I put all the time into the areas that you're going to see. And that would be true of any fairing part, anything you're going to see. And thank you to all the people that have sent in nice comments about how much they're enjoying this set of videos. I am very happy to share the information, and I hope it inspires you to go out and get some sandpaper and some paint and some 8065 and make your bike even better than mine. It's a lot of fun doing this work. It's very rewarding because once these parts are sanded like this, now we're just going to wait for a day that the paint weather is appropriate, and we are ready. I get excited when the parts are like this, ready for the clear. So this turned out to be a pretty eclectic day, but we did get everything done that we wanted to do with Vlad. We got the paint, we got the polish, we got the sandpaper we're going to need for this job, the rest of this triple job. 3 restorations at once. But again, what we're doing, and Vlad is very smart for doing it this way, is to get the first one done. Then we have some room to work in the shop. And once the second one is done, because the third one, the Moto Guzzi, is an enormous thing with major work and paint removal and everything. But getting these done first, this will be, well, we've into this about 2 weeks already. And most of these videos, it's more than one day they run. So there's just nothing else I can say except if you enjoy this kind of work, and I do, and it's very satisfying to see these things like you saw earlier in the video about when Vlad was here, how excited he was about seeing it, like the home renovation shows. That's a true thing. I think it's very true about motorcycles too. Anyway, we are well on the way to having the BMW ready to put more clear on, more parts, and very soon we'll be ready to start buffing some of the original parts like the valve covers. But a nice thing about motorcycling is no matter what facet of it you enjoy, or facets, if you like turbo bikes like Turbo Steve, if you like antique bikes like Charlie, if you like collector bikes like Dale, it doesn't matter. Glenn's old Honda. No matter what part of motorcycling you enjoy, the nice thing is all motorcyclists ultimately share the same passion. And that's the passion to get out on the open road on a 2-wheel vehicle and hold the gas wide open until you scare yourself. And thanks so much for watching.